already know it's not about the setback, it's about the get back. When do people feel it's time, the people that are in the streets, that it's time to leave the streets alone? Because it seems that people don't understand when it's time to hang it up. It comes a point in the time where you got to leave the streets alone. The streets will take you out of the game of life. And a lot of people don't understand that. They don't understand that the streets may be a stepping stool for some people. But it comes a time that you got to exit that situation. It comes a time that you got to level up. People think that it's going to last forever. The streets will never last forever for you. It's a short-term life. Now, unfortunately, some people are in that situation. But it comes a time where you got to pay attention to what you into, knowing that it's a failure. The streets ain't going to last for nobody, man. And it's a lot of guys that'll make it to a certain level in life where they really don't need the street. But what they do, they continue to play with the jail, man. Because that's all you doing. You throwing rocks at the penitentiary. They got a place for you. You hear me? They got a place for you, man. And it's our people, right? They'll make it to certain heights, a level that people will never make it to. It's definitely the rush for people. The streets is bad news, but they'll make it to certain levels, right? Knowing that you did all you can do in the street, but continue to play with the streets like it's a success story. See, they continue to watch the rappers tell us how they're doing these things in the street that they're not doing, and it influences people to think that it's real. But we got to pay attention to what's going on, man. It's only a downfall, man. Nobody never succeeded in the streets, and we got to be real. Nobody's never succeeded in the street. It's been a stepping stool for some people, but all the people that stuck around and tried to think that they were going to succeed and reach the highest levels, because there is no high level, it's always going to send you to jail. And we got to be real with that. Make sure y'all hit that like button, man. It's always going to send you to jail, man. You can never be successful and continue in the streets. We got to pay attention to that. It's a lot of dudes that made it in life, accomplished things, built things in their life, but they continue to mess with the streets because it's addicting. You hear me? The streets is addicting the same way the people that are using the things from the street. It's addicted the same way, man. But they never know when to get out. That's the thing. They never understand that it ran its course for you. And why don't they? I just don't understand. Why don't they understand that it's ran their course? We got to pay attention to the signs, man. Knowing that it's not a success story, man. They make it look like it's a success story from the music. They make us think that if you get a whole bunch of bricks, you doing something. But on the downside, right, you always gonna lose. They don't tell you about when you get caught with those bricks, you going to jail. They not saying that. They not saying the life sentence behind it. I'm dealing with a life sentence. I'm playing with the RICO charge. They not saying them things to us, though. And we got to be real. People think they're smarter than others, and it won't be them. That's the trickery, though. They really think that they're smarter than others, and they can't get caught, man. It got to be a time to hang it up, man. It has to be a time to hang it up because it won't last forever. And everybody we've seen that boasted about it and was in position, they all fail every time. You can't hide that kind of lifestyle and continue to live it at a high level. We got to understand that, man. You cannot live that kind of lifestyle at a high level and hide it. It's going to show your persona. The people are going to see it. And it's like we don't understand when to let it go. Our people do not understand when to let it go, man. When is enough enough? You hear me? When is enough enough, man? It's a straight downfall, man. And it's so much more talent that we have, right? But this is the major talent that's displayed to us from the music, and we keep following it and never know when to stop. That's crazy. We never know when to stop. There's no success story staying in the street. And we got to understand that as a whole, man. When our people come to realize that there is no success story in the street, we're going to be a lot better off. When is it time? Now, some people come from them environments and they're subjected to that, right? So they got to live that lifestyle. And hey, we understand that. But it comes a point in time where you got to check out of that lifestyle, where you got to put that behind you. We keep listening to the music thinking that there's a level at the top of that. There is no top to that. You're always going to go to the edge and get pushed over. We got to understand that, man. Pay attention to the game out there, man. They keep feeding us this stuff. I was talking to my grandma the other night, right? And she was saying how Malcolm X said this was coming. She was telling me, listen, Malcolm X said that our neighborhoods are going to be plagued with a drug. And since then, they found different kind of substances to put to the public, man. And our people find an outlet for that and never know when to leave it alone. You hear me? Our people, we got to pay attention to this, man. When is it time to get out the street? Tell me that. When is it time for us to get out the street, man? Because some people are just subjected to that. That's their neighborhood. It's gangs, violence, all through their neighborhoods. That's what's going on. So they got to adapt to their environment. Some people get away from it. Some people get into it. But when is the time to get out of it? It's like nobody knows when to quit. You can't do negative your whole entire life and expect not to get caught. Why do you expect not to get caught? Why do you expect not to never get caught doing something wrong for so long? We got to pay attention to this, man. The influences, that's why. They continue to influence us with the music. We think it's real. And then we go out there and try to indulge in this and never know when to give it up. The game has us confused, thinking that we can win on this level. And we can't. We look at the cars, the money, the stuff that they put in front of us and think that this is the success story. But we never know when that time is going to end. That's what I'm saying. We never know when the time is going to be over. We got to pay attention, man. The streets are always going to take us out the game, man. If you had to use that as a stepping stool, understandable. But you got to understand that it is always going to take you out of the game. It comes a time where you got to understand it's over. It's no more. You can't make it. It's a lot of people that try, and you got to think about it. It's a never-ending story. Once you get one, you want two, you want three, you want four, you want five. There's no limit to the numbers, man. Our people don't understand that you can't win over there. They put the game in effect, right? You think they not coming to shut you down? They put it there so that they can make a business out of the situation, man. It's money involved when they bringing it, and it's money involved when you go to jail. It's a business out of it. But our people got to understand that you can't win in that business. That's what we got to understand. We get to glorify what these dudes is talking about in the music, and we think we got the shot to beat it. We can beat it. I'm going to be the one to get all the way to the top and not get touched. But it's never going to happen. They're always going to find a way to break you down. They're always going to find a way to get into your organization. We got to pay attention that it's a straight failure. You can never succeed. You hear me? It's a one-way ticket. And we got to understand that, man. But why we don't know when it's enough? How do we think we can beat the game? And there's no way to beat it. It's an addiction that'll keep you on a high chasing the money. It's an addiction, man. We got to understand we can't make it out there, man. We need a better influence than telling us to go get some work. And it's crazy that is promoted all over the radio, all over everywhere when it's so negative. But we take a liking to it and think that we can beat the game. Come on, man. We got to pay attention, man. They putting the game in front of us, and it's a failure, man. You got to understand you can't beat the streets, man. Why don't we understand you can't win? You got to know you got to get out. The streets is a destruction, man. Let's pay attention to the game, man. The streets is a straight destruction, man. I'm like, it's a lot of dudes that then got up in the streets, made it to a point where they didn't need the streets, but they continued to play with the streets, thinking that they were going to succeed somewhere. And there is no success story in the street. The bigger you get, the more of a target you get. They're coming. They're not going to allow you to operate at that level and throw it in their face. We got to understand when the time is to get out the street, man. Some people are subjected to that lifestyle because of what they come from, right? But we got to understand that it's a time to get out of that. You got to mature. And a lot of people out there, right, they haven't matured yet. They out there older, still playing. And we know some people, doing what they got to do to survive. Understandable, man. But it comes a time where you got to understand that you can't win. It's impossible. There's no winning in that game, man. But we continue to play it and never know when to stop. And every time somebody get caught in that situation, they always say, I was about to quit. Now pay attention to that. Every time somebody get caught up in the RICO or some big case, in their mind, they were saying, man, I was just about to stop. I was going to do it one more time. And every time they get caught, man. When is the time to get out the streets? It's never a time because you shouldn't get involved in the street. Pay attention to the game. But some people are subjected to that lifestyle and we understand. But you shouldn't get involved because you can't get out, man. It's a chase that you never win. You hear me? But we got to pay attention to the game, man, for what it is. The streets and took everybody out that was in it, man. And these dudes will make it out the streets, some of them, and go play back in the streets. These artists, it's like you make millions to go play with the streets when you was running away from the streets. You didn't want nothing to do with the streets. We got to understand, when is it time to get out the streets, man? And I think once you get in a situation, you need to understand and leave it alone. Because there's people that get in several situations and they continue to play that game. And it's a losing game, man. I ain't seen nobody win the game yet. Everybody I seen play the game struck out, man. They got up there thinking that they was bigger than life, and every time they struck out, man. We got to be mindful, man. You can't win in the streets, man. It's the game that they put in front of us that we're always going to fail at, man. Pay attention, man. It's your boy DZ, though, man. I'm about to get on the live on the computer and live stream for a little while, so make sure y'all tune into the live stream, man. It's your boy DZ. It's not about the setback. It's about the get back. Nah.